Today's video is about a war that could reshape the entire Middle East and maybe even the world. The Iran-Israel conflict has exploded into a full-scale battle, with missiles raining down on major cities, nuclear threats rising, and civilian lives caught in the crossfire. If you think this is just another regional clash, think again. This is bigger. This is dangerous. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to break down exactly what's happening and why it matters to you. 1. The first strike. Who lit the match? It wasn't a slow build-up, it was fire from the sky. In just hours, Tel Aviv lit up with missile strikes. But who really started this war? On Friday, Israel launched targeted airstrikes deep inside Iran, claiming it was on the verge of building a nuclear bomb. That single move shattered years of uneasy silence. Iran responded with fury, unleashing missiles that slammed into Tel Aviv and Haifa, killing civilians and destroying homes. This wasn't just a warning, it was war. But underneath the smoke, both sides had been preparing for this day for years. 2. Iran's deadly response. Missiles over Tel Aviv. You wake up to sirens, grab your kid, and run for cover. Now imagine that reality across an entire city. At 4 a.m., air raid sirens blared across Israel. In a terrifying moment, Iranian missiles tore through Tel Aviv, killing at least 8 and wounding over 100. Residential buildings collapsed. Fires raged. Markets and homes near the U.S. embassy were obliterated. Israel said 7 missiles struck major population centers. It was the first time in years that a foreign state directly attacked Israeli cities on this scale. 3. Inside Israel's response. Eliminate the threat. Israel's not just retaliating, it's on a mission to wipe out Iran's nuclear future. Prime Minister Netanyahu appeared at the Tel Aviv air base and made it clear, "We are on our way to achieving our 2 main objectives, eliminating the nuclear threat and the missile threat." Israeli airstrikes intensify. 4 high-ranking Iranian intelligence officials were killed. The goal? Decapitate Iran's leadership and destroy its weapons infrastructure before it's too late. 4. The nuclear tipping point. Iran to leave the NPT? When a country leaves the global nuclear treaty, it's not just paperwork, it's a warning to the world. Iran's parliament is preparing to exit the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT, sparking fears that Tehran could go nuclear. While Iranian officials insist they won't build weapons of mass destruction, the world is watching nervously. The UN's nuclear watchdog says Iran has already violated its NPT commitments. If this bill passes, it could tear apart the last layer of international trust. 5. Saboteurs, spies, and secrets. Inside Iran, something darker is happening: secret arrests, spy hunts, and deep paranoia. Tehran has arrested dozens of alleged Israeli spies since the conflict erupted. The government is scrambling to root out sabotage, but many say this is also a crackdown on dissidents, an excuse to silence anyone who dares question the regime. With the 1979 revolution in the background, the government is desperate to maintain control. 6. Civilian tragedy. The real victims of war. Politicians argue over nukes, but it's ordinary people who pay the price. The civilian death toll is heartbreaking. In Israel, 24 people have died, all civilians. In Iran, the number has reached 224, with 90% of them civilians. A missile strike hit Farabi Hospital in western Iran, causing massive destruction. In Haifa, rescue teams are still digging through rubble, searching for survivors. The war isn't just numbers, it's families shattered in seconds. 7. Global reactions. The world holds its breath. The world just watched 2 nations step closer to nuclear war now. Everyone's scrambling. World leaders are reacting. At a G7 emergency meeting in Canada, pressure is mounting to stop this before it gets out of control. U.S. President Donald Trump said he still hopes for a deal, but time is running out. The global economy is shaking. Oil prices are spiking, and tensions across the Middle East are rising fast. 8. Proxy battles. Hamas, Hezbollah, and the wider war. This war didn't start in 2025. It's been brewing for decades, and other players are already in the fire. Iran has watched as its allies Hamas and Hezbollah were hit hard by Israel over the past year. Top leaders have been assassinated. Now, the fight feels personal. Israel believes defeating Iran means dismantling every group Tehran supports. What started as a state-on-state conflict is quickly spreading to a proxy war across the Middle East. 9. Iran's internal collapse. economy, morale, and fear. What happens when your enemies are bombing you and your money becomes worthless overnight? Iran's currency has dropped 10% against the U.S. dollar in just days. Panic is spreading. With international isolation, sanctions, and war, Tehran is facing its worst crisis since 1979. For young Iranians, hope is fading. For older generations, this feels like history repeating itself, only worse. 10. Can this end? The ceasefire question. Here's the question no one can answer. How does this stop? Both sides are dug in. Israel wants a total elimination of Iran's nuclear and missile capabilities. Iran wants revenge and recognition. Ceasefire talks have stalled, and neither side is blinking. But behind closed doors, some diplomats are desperately working on a solution. Because if this war doesn't end now, the next stage could be nuclear. This isn't just another headline. This is a moment that could shape the next decade of global politics. If you found this video valuable, hit that like button. Subscribe for real-time updates, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Should world powers step in? Or is it already too late? Subscribe to Clearstream Updates for more updates.